You're listening to the Central Indiana Sports Report with your host, Greg Menkelt.
The Tipton Blue Devils went 24-3 last year, won the program's third straight sectional championship, their 11th in the last 17 years, and 29th overall. They started this season with a 64-40 win over Tri-Central. This is the Blue Devils' sixth year under head coach Cliff Hawkins, who is 11 wins away from 100 at Tipton and 14 away from 600 in his career. The Blue Devils lost 5 seniors from last year's team, including leading scorer Nolan Swan, but has plenty of talent back, led by senior leader Grady Carpenter. Here's Tipton Tribune sports editor Michelle Garmon with Coach Hawkins to tell you more about the 24-25 Tipton Blue Devils.
Okay, Cliff, describe this year's squad a little. Give me a little bit of a synopsis on this year's squad to start off with.
Well, it's a team it's going to get better as the season goes, and part of the reason is it's not that there's anything wrong with the players. It's just that a lot of them don't have varsity experience, and it's just different. And you play in the summer and you gain some of that, but we still have people that are younger that don't make reads. They'll see it, but they'll hesitate, and the timing is everything, especially on offense. And so we're having to work with that. But it's a good group of young people that want to get better, and I think it's a team that's going to be very difficult to play against as we go.
You lost from last year, I know, was it 4 seniors? 3 starters, Gavin, and then Drake?
Drake, so 5 total.
5 total, okay. Including the 3 starters, which were big contributors, all 3. I mean, yeah, Nolan and... 2
of them scored 2,400 points in their career here total together. And anytime you have to kind of begin to figure out, because like a year ago, if I said, okay, if somebody's shutting Nolan down, who can score it? The answer would be Grady or Jackson or different people. Now, let's say people are trying to shut Grady, so who can score? So, we're having to learn that. And what are we looking for to score? What kind of shots do we want? And so it's just a team that's got to be put together, and you can't do it in 2 weeks and 2 days like the IHSA gives you during the winter. So we just have to continue to get better every day and look at it as a journey.
Of course, you return Grady and Sam in the starters in your backcourt with good experience, and then Landon, another young guy with 3 years of varsity experience. So you're mixing that experience with some youth. So tell me, who are some of the players that you are looking at to contribute or play big roles this season?
Well, obviously the 3 seniors you mentioned are going to play big roles, and then you've got Grayson McFalls is a 6'8" sophomore, and you got Peyton Aller at guard. You've got Quinn Smith. You got Isaac Humrickhouse, Zach Ridgway, and Jace Clark. All those guys, there's about 9 of them there. But I keep telling some of our young guys, you keep working, because, still within all of this, we have to be able to handle the ball seamlessly. And right now, we don't quite do it that way. I'm not saying that we make a lot of mistakes, but we're late on recognitions of things. And so we just got to continue to put them in the scenarios that they have to see to learn, and that's what practice is about.
Grady, talk to me about Grady. I mean, what an impact he's had on the program, and I'm sure his role was probably going to increase even a little, at least early in the season, because he's going to carry a lot more of the scoring burden as well with the graduation of Jackson and Nolan and Ryan.
Right, because he can't, you still, when you pass, you got to have people that can make shots, and our kids are working on that, but they have to really work at that, because basically the game plan would be to load up on him in some way, whether, whatever the defense wants to do. And we have to understand how we play off of that, and how we see off of that. And so it's very hard to replicate in practice if you don't have guys that can also do what a varsity team will do to him. But we work at it, and we try to make it that way. So he's constantly having to respond to challenge, because he is heavily challenged, will be heavily challenged in every game. But he's a really good player, and he's a very smart player. What I like about him most, he holds people accountable, holds himself accountable. But it is quite a load that he carries.
And how about Sam? Of course, I thought his sophomore year, and I remember I told him, I think was leaving Lapel in the regional, that I thought that he may have improved as much as any player on this team from that. And I just thought I think he's made, in my opinion, it looks like he's made improvements every year.
Yeah, I think if he can get the inside-outside game going with a post guy and get some things off of that, because Sam's a good player and he's a good shooter. The biggest thing he does, though, is how he anchors our defense. Tonight we were working on some things with our pressure defense, and he was amazing in it. Okay, he was flying around and flying to the right spots. And, he's really good to have on our team. And, Grady turns up the tempo, and Sam can keep the calm approach with some of the younger players to keep bringing them, and they complement each other really nicely as leaders, and that's something I really appreciate about Sam.
Does Landon, having him and the experience as a senior, does it help with developing the younger kids, Grayson and Quinn, inside to play some of that post defense? And
yeah, Landon's a good team guy, and the thing I notice about him right now on the sidelines when he's out of the play, he continually talks to some of the younger players about what they need to do, about how they could play this or play that, and there's quite a bit of discussion there. And I know that they're asking questions because they're realizing they have a huge responsibility now, and so they're trying to learn all they can. And Landon is really good about helping them with that.
Peyton Aller would be the other young man that had, I thought, some quality. Not a lot of varsity minutes, but some quality minutes for you after Christmas and heading into the tournament. Another really athletic guard for you.
Peyton really works at it, and where he's developing all the skills of the game. He really is. But where he is so effective is just his ability to play pressure defense without fouling. He doesn't foul, and he really, really pressures the ball. And he's a pretty good rebounder. So, yeah, we have high hopes for him, and he'll obviously continue to develop, his perimeter game as well, because obviously we need that from him. And but I like his practice habits. There's never a down day for him. He's just level and straight ahead, and it really gets things done.
What would you say are the strengths of your team right now?
I think the strengths of our team are that they expect to do well. They and that's a strength, because there'll be teams that say, well, we can't do what another team did. They're focused on what they can do well. They're trying to learn that, though, and they don't really know exactly how that all fits together yet. But I think one of the biggest strengths is their athleticism. We have strong people. We have a combination of strength and quickness, and we have height. So I think that's the biggest one. And then I think number two, they're willing to play together. And yet they know that Grady has to do a lot of things for us too right now. Because right now, if we can get our defensive play down and then just keep bringing the offense along, because it'll be a year-long proposition to get it done. But I think we could be very hard to guard,
So that defense, getting that and developing that, and probably even the continuity on the team, are things that that need to continue to develop through the year if you're going to challenge for another sectional championship.
Yeah, and I think rebounding is another strength that we have to demonstrate every single night. It's a different makeup than what we had a year ago, and it's okay, because these players just have to figure out their roles within this team and how your role can be different from one year to the next, or what players you're playing with. And that's a lot for a young person to handle when they're wanting to do well. They want to show you they can do well, but they've got to figure it out within the team context. And that's what they're working on right now.
The conference. How are they doing the basketball conference this year?
It's still the same. We're gonna play our side of the division, and Logan Sports joined it.
Okay, because I knew football they went big and small. Okay.
They did that. We're not doing that in basketball right now.
Okay.
And it'll be Hamilton Heights, who's on our side, Northwestern.
No, Northwestern's not in the conference anymore.
That's right, they're out. So Hamilton Heights,
Western,
and Logansport, and us.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and then on the other side, you've got your West Lafayette, Benton Central, those people.
So how do you see the conference shaping up?
I think we'll be quite competitive for our conference. I don't know yet exactly, because what I have to do is get some more answers here in the next few weeks. Then I probably can answer that a little bit better.
And even with the teams that are making up that division, because I know it's early in the season. How about your strength or your schedule overall? Tell me, I
think it's a dynamite schedule. What we've done here, maybe it's good, maybe it's not good, but I think we play a very hard schedule. I mean, when you put Muncie Central in there, and you've got Kokomo and you've got Logansport, Delta at Muncie Fieldhouse, Western, just our conference schools. That's a lot. And I think what is happening, as years go by, I see more and more people dropping people they don't think they can beat. And I think when they do that, while there might be some temporary satisfaction with a win, I think sometimes what happens is, though, the quality of the game may not be as high because we're held to such a standard. I mean, when you look at our people that aren't in our conference, I mean, when you play Frankton, Coach Brobston, I mean, those you look at LaPel, I mean, they're amazing, okay? So then you combine that with Muncie Central, Kokomo, go right down the list, and our conference schools. You have to be pretty good here to play. And I think we still believe in the fact that you play a tough schedule, it's going to help you at the end because you've been battle tested. I mean, we're going to go out Saturday night. There'll be somebody that'll win a game against another opponent by 40 and think they're good, and we're going to go out and battle, and regardless of how it turns out, we're going to have learned a lot about our team. So I've told our kids as we go through this, there's a lot of lessons to be learned, and they have to have the fortitude to stick with the situation of learning those lessons about being a varsity basketball player. And that's kind of, how we're handling it right now, whether it's a win or a loss or that type of thing. Like we took the Tri-Central game, which, anytime you win the Pilgrim Cup, that's an outstanding thing, but it's a hard deal. And, even with the victory there, we dissected that game as we had lost it. Okay, that's how we went about it, because that's how you grow as a team. We spent a couple hours with film and classroom stuff to really begin to see what we have to do better to get ready for the next outing. And it's just bringing a group of guys that want to be successful along, and there's just a lot of things that you have to go through to get there.
Last question. Sectionals changed.
Yeah. It's
actually probably become even a little bit more tougher. Am I right? With the addition of LaPel and the addition of Frankton?
Yeah, I think IHSA, they must want to do those things, or they want to get them out of their deal, with Wapahani or... No, I think it's an amazing sectional, okay? And the person that wins that that sectional, I mean, the team that wins it will really be battle tested, because there's not going to be any easy victory in that sectional. And some of the teams coming back in are really good teams. You know, like I know Bill's got it going now at Sheridan, and Elwood's always going to fight you tooth and nail in the game, and then Bobby at Taylor, I mean, he coaches his guys to win, and so I think it's an incredibly hard sectional. I may have left somebody out, but I didn't mean to. I just the fact of what I'm thinking of right now. But it's gonna be a battle. But you know what we'll do right now is do what we do every year and every day, is just focus on that moment to get better, to improve. Because I always tell them, let's say we got 12 guys on the practice floor, and all 12 of you today improve individually. Well, then collectively, we're 12 times better than what we were before we started practice if you all work towards some type of improvement. And sometimes I'll have them identify, what is it you're focused on today? You know, a player might write offensive rebounding or something like that. And we're trying to get them to focus in on tangible things that will help our team. And it takes time to do that, but it also we can build it to where then we're doing that. And then, man, if you're improving 12 times better every practice, you can get a whole lot better by the end of the year. And that's always the goal. But boy, the players, they realize how hard that is to do.
Thank you once again to Michelle Garmon for always being willing to help out, and to Coach Cliff Hawkins of the Tipton Blue Devils. And thanks most of all to you for listening. Please go right now and like, subscribe, or follow us on YouTube, SoundCloud, Spotify, Apple, or Amazon, and tell a friend. The Central Indiana Sports Report is a product of ITG Media, and I love Susie.